Just a high-class lady writing letters. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Taylor and today is part 3 of my birthday hauls. I bought a lot on my birthday, but I bought most of the books secondhand, and this is another secondhand book haul. So for my birthday, my boyfriend and I went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which I lived there for a few years after I finished my undergrad, and it was so fun, and it has some of my, to this day, some of my favorite places to eat and some of the best bookstores that you could ever find. And everything in this haul today is actually from Full Circle Book Co-op. The co-op is a wonderful used bookstore, and it also is always holding community events, and it's also a beer and wine bar. So they're open until about midnight on like Fridays and Saturdays. So you can go in, shop for books, shop local handmade artist wares. I actually used to have my stuff in there. They are great people to work with, great people frequent there, and it was definitely like top of where I wanted to go when I went to Sioux Falls. They do this really fun promotion where you can fill a tote bag with books for $35. So today is all about what I got at Full Circle Book Co-op. So if you like book hauls, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We are going into the holiday season. I'm really excited just for all like staying home, comfy cozy reading, and crochet. Let's just hop in. So the first couple books are actually for the children in my life. I got A Crocodile's Tale, a Philippine folk story by Jose and Arian Arrego. So this is about a little boy who helps out a crocodile, and then the crocodile says, "I'm gonna eat you," and he's like, "Why would you do that? That's not very grateful of you." And so it's all about, even though if other people aren't very grateful, doesn't mean that you can't be a grateful person yourself. And then the other one, this is so big, this is Lone Mountain, a story about mountaintop removal. And this is set, I believe, in Appalachia. And I think that this would be a really fun book for my nephew. So I love giving children books, and especially like secondhand books. Like if you ever go to a secondhand store or like a used bookstore, they are overflowing with children's books. Then I have Made in China, When U.S. Interests Converged to Transform Global Trade by Elizabeth O'Brien Ingleson. So this is essentially about how the United States chose to start, outsourcing their manufacturing to China. I believe it starts in the 1970s. When we ended 2 decades of Cold War isolation and when we brokered like a new trade deal. I thought that this would be very interesting, telling about kind of how we ended up with everything in the United States being made in China. Next is Fast Food Nation by Eric Schlosser, The Dark Side of the All-American Meal. I've definitely heard of this book before. I've heard good things about this book. It says, fast food has hastened the mauling of our landscape, widened the chasm between rich and poor, fueled an epidemic of obesity, and propelled American culture imperialism abroad. That's a lengthy list of charges, but Eric Schlosser makes them stick with an artful mix of first-rate reportage, wry wit, and careful reasoning. But when I saw that, I was like, you're coming home with me. Also, I think it's so funny that not that many people know where that sound is from. That's from Chris Clemens, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. He is hilarious. Me and my boyfriend watch him all the time. And it's so funny when people say it. I'm like, oh my god, like, are you a fan? And then they're like, no, I have no clue. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm sad. Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, then I do have a few black classics I will show you now. So first we have Claude McKay's Romance in Marseille. This follows the adventures of a rowdy troupe of dock workers, prostitutes, and political organizers, collectively straight and queer, disabled and able-bodied, African, European, Caribbean, and American. So just like a very diverse novel. I'm really excited to see how this goes. And Claude McKay was a black gentleman, and I feel like sometimes when it comes to classics, it just ends up being like white men, white women. So I'm really excited to dive into this. Next is Madame de Sevinci Selected Letters. She paints a vivid picture of France at the time of Louis XIV, a prominent figure in French society, literary circles whose close friends include Madame de Lafayette and La Rochefoucauld. She reflected on both important historical events and personal issues, and in the selection of the most significant letters spanning almost 50 years, she is by turns humorous, melancholic, profound, and superficial. Just a high-class lady writing letters. And then this last one is Sigrid Undset, Kristen Lavrasatter, number 3, The Cross. It says, the Cross finds Kristen Lavrasatter returning with her husband, Erland, and their sons to their childhood home. Oh god, I believe this is Swedish. I believe this is a Swedish novel. It chronicles the trials and losses Kristen must bear and how she finds the strength to endure them. The final chapter in her story emphasizes the medieval belief that the spiritual world has primacy over the material one, a belief which Sigrid Undset herself concurred but found lacking in most of her own contemporaries. So definitely we'll need to read 1 and 2, but I got number 3. And that's kind of the same thing that I talked about with The Wealth of Nations in the last haul, is like, I'll get to it eventually, and then I'll buy 1 and 2. Or I'll check them out of the library. Who knows? We'll see where we're at in that time. So those are all the Penguin classics. The rest of them are not that. Next is Pulphead Essays by John Jeremiah Sullivan. In Pulphead, John Jeremiah Sullivan leads us on a mind-bending tour of our culture, popular, unpopular, and at times completely forgotten. On an adult quest for some kind of American enlightenment, Sullivan takes us from a joyous Christian rock concert to the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, across the Southeast in pursuit of lost blues musicians and 19th century botanists, and to Indiana, tracking the origins of Axl Rose and Michael Jackson. So this was written in 2011, so I think when it comes to essays on culture, I will understand these ones a little bit more. I just thought that this would be kind of cool and different. Next, okay, so they really had a good nonfiction, it was like nonfiction / history, all this stuff. So this is Family of Secrets, The Bush Dynasty, America's Invisible Government and the Hidden History of the Last 50 Years by Russ Baker. And I will say, I didn't look too far into these. Maybe this is crazy, but I thought that this might be kind of funny, because I also bought another book on the Bush presidency recently. On the back it says, was the rise of the disastrous George W. Bush just a matter of family connections and sly, cynical operatives such as Karl Rove? Or was it something more at work, something that endures beyond Bush's departure from Washington? So, this is a big book about Bush. And I need to know where the No Child Left Behind thing came from, because I need them to answer for their crimes. Next was Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. This one, I think, is the most outlandish one that I got, but that's the thing. This bookstore is so cool. It has so many different kinds of books. Just something for everything. From what I understand, it's a novel or maybe nonfiction. I really don't know. It says first published in 1923 by George H. Doran Company. So this is, this could be an old guy. This is definitely not from that time, but this is not, a normal cover. So it's just about a guy who works in the stock industry. Next is Our Culture, What's Left of It? What's Left of It? The Mandarins and the Masses. This new collection of essays by the author of Life at the Bottom bears the unmistakable stamp of Theodore Dalrymple's bracingly clear-sighted view of the human condition. It suggests comparison with the work of George Orwell. In these 26 pieces, Dr. Dalrymple ranges over literature and ideas from Shakespeare to Marx, from the breakdown of Islam to the legalization of drugs. Informed by many years of medical practice in a wide variety of settings, his acquaintance with outer limits of human experience allows him to discover the universal in the local and the particular. But I think it's just essays about society. And then the last book I have in here was actually a book that was recommended by my high school best friend. She said it was one of the best books that she has read recently, and it's called The Office of Historical Corrections by Danielle Evans, and I am super excited to read this. This was a book of the month book, which I was super surprised by. So it says, with this novella and stories, Evans considers how and why some people choose to confront history and others to outrun it. I think this will be right up my alley. Wow, that is huge print as well. That, oh yeah, I'm a fly through that. Yeah, so I'm super excited about this when I saw it, and I was like, Abby said that I need to read this book, therefore I'm going to read it. I know I had it on my library list, but I'm like, well, now I can own it. And I don't know, maybe if I don't like it, she really liked it, maybe I could give it to her. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But that is the last book in this haul, and that concludes my trilogy of hauls from my birthday. You know how people are like, oh, don't talk about how you blacked out, like you don't blah blah blah. No, I was cognizant. I was sifting through books getting to find these, and I'm super excited about all of them. I'm excited about all the reading material that I got over the weekend. I just need to get cracking. I've been reading some slow classics recently, and it's starting to drive me crazy because I'm used to like just reading a little bit faster paced things. So that's why we need variety in our reading, right? But thank you so much for watching and coming along on this little journey with me. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so that you can keep up with my reading, and also come along with the crafting journey that I've been going on this holiday season. I will see you guys next time. Bye!